Welcome to episode 200 of the Fully In It podcast. Do you ever wonder what the impact will be on your children of the choices you make, like growing a business or pursuing your vision? On today's episode, I have a very special guest, my mom, Kathy, joining me. In this episode, she shares her story of pursuing her passion, growing a family business over 3 decades, and the online business she is now leading in her retirement. She shares her wisdom for all of us mom CEOs, and I cannot wait for you to get to know her. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Welcome to the Fully In It podcast with Kate Saffel, a show for powerful moms growing life-changing businesses while showing up intentionally for their families. I teach you how to create a family-first and profitable business in less time by leveraging simple strategy, mom life-friendly systems, and above all, the mindset of going fully in it. You ready? So if you've listened to my podcast for a while, you know that I have shared the impact my parents being entrepreneurs has had on me. From a very early age, I've witnessed how my mom pursued her own passions while also raising our family. I got to see firsthand the growth of our family business with all of the ups and downs as my parents grew a thriving business in conjunction with my oldest brother. I guess that's probably why I was a bit more fearless when it came to starting my own business, as I had a pretty good idea of what it entailed from a very young age. I saw my parents model how to lead a business, how to pivot when the market changed or they faced new curveballs. I'm so grateful for everything I've learned from my parents and for you to hear from my own mom, Kathy, about what it was like from her perspective of building a business. This is your reminder that what you do and how you lead yourself in front of your kids does matter. You get to be the example of being an intentional mom and powerful business owner. It's not a matter of choosing one or the other, but realizing that you are the woman who can hold both, that you are growing something that will have an impact on the next generation. Now let's meet the woman who taught me how to so beautifully lead in home and business. So today I have the biggest honor of being able to have my own mother on the podcast. And, you know, this is something I have actually dreamed about for years. I've wanted to have you on the show. I think I was just waiting for the right time, and we're together, and so we're able to record. But as I was reflecting on what I wanted to just dig into with you on this episode, I went to one of my earliest memories as a kiddo, and I remember going with you to conferences.
Right.
And also you had this baby doll that I love to play with.
The one that's still in the closet here in the spare bedroom.
Yeah, that poor baby. So what was it that you were building at the time, and why was that so meaningful to you?
After you were born, I learned a lot about breastfeeding that I didn't know, and I was a nurse, but actually didn't know a lot about it. So I had to research and find out what to do, and trying to be successful at it. And I actually went to Leachy League meetings and did a lot of reading. But I was working in a maternal unit at the time, and it made me realize how little women knew about breastfeeding. So I really got interested in trying to help moms be successful with whatever their goals were for breastfeeding after they had their babies. And so I started becoming educated. It was a new field at the time. I wanted to be a Leachy League leader, and they encouraged me instead to become a lactation consultant.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I did. I started pursuing it, and it was hard to even know what to do. That was a very new field. So that's why the conference is.
And that would have been what, in the late 90s or late 80s, early 90s?
The late 80s. You were, I think, 5 when I first started.
Yeah.
You were 4 or 5, and first started pursuing it. And I approached the hospital I worked at, and they said I could start. So I just started slowly. I went in on my days off, and eventually we got a new director of nursing, and she said, okay, if this is something we need, I need you to do it full time. But I tried to manipulate it so that, so that to our advantage, so I could take you to school and, try to have it interrupt our lives as little as possible. So.
Yeah, I remember you sharing a story about how, I think like my school schedule changed or
Right.
something like that. And so you went to your boss and
Yeah.
you were like, how did you
I said,
position it?
hey, I said, I think it would be more beneficial for the moms on the floor if I came in a little later because they're not up that early.
Yeah.
And, she's like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. And I worked my 32 hours over 5 days instead of 4 so that I could be there only 5 or 6 hours a day.
Oh, wow.
Instead of 8. So I just sold it to them,
Yeah.
They said yes. So.
Yeah, that was so smart. Sometimes as a mom, right, you have
Yeah.
to be creative
Yes.
to find ways to make
Right.
career or business work when you have kiddos. So what was that like for you personally to juggle a full-time job? You were getting extra education. You were also teaching
Right.
breastfeeding classes, right?
Right,
You're doing
right.
education for parents.
Yes.
And then also having a family.
Yeah, it was difficult. And, looking back, I feel like some of the choices I made were, I might not make the same choices now because I feel like, the situation for you after school wasn't ideal. And, those kind of things, they kind of gave me an ultimatum. If this is necessary, this is what has to happen right now. And, looking back, I might make some different choices.
Yeah, it's so hard, especially, when you have a career, you have a job, and you want to hang on to it.
Yeah.
It can be really challenging when they have their expectations and they don't match up with your idea
Right.
of how you want to do family.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You started that program at the hospital, and I remember that was just kind of a big thing for me as a child because, I saw you working with other mothers and helping them and having that impact. And I think that was really formational for me to see that you could be in a line of work that was personally satisfying to you, I think, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And allowed you to help other women and also help provide for your family.
Yes, yeah, and honestly, I had done staff nursing for quite a number of years, and it's very taxing. And this was an area I was passionate about, so it was something I could veer off into to not have to do the floor staff nursing anymore.
Yeah. What were some of your wins with the program? There were some things that you established at the hospital, right?
Yeah, I actually, over the years, I did it solo for a number of years, and then we had some other staff members who also became educated, we were all board certified lactation consultants. We had an entire program. We had women could come on their own for outpatient visits for help. They were free. They didn't have to have a doctor's order. It didn't matter where they delivered. We helped anybody. And taught prenatal classes, saw everybody on the floor, tried to make sure they had no issues, did follow-up phone calls. We had kept statistics. We had a pretty extensive program, and we were kind of proud of that.
Yeah. I mean, as you should be, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was such a impact to have on the community and to offer that. And that was so cool, too, that you saw anyone who needed help. And
they never made me charge patients. They allowed them to come in without an order, just to call and say, hey, I need help, and come in for that help free of charge. And it was a really good thing.
Yeah, it's such a gift. Yeah, because I feel like, and you're listening to this podcast, you're a mom, you either have gone through this yourself potentially, or you have friends who have, of just like, I know so many women who struggle with breastfeeding, and then they don't know where to turn, and they don't know how to get the help that they need, and then they feel so alone.
Right.
And not every community has those kind of resources. So that was definitely a gift for them, for sure. So, okay, so like moving forward a bit in the timeline, when I think I was probably in 4th grade, so I would have been like maybe 10 or 11.
Yeah, maybe.
You and Dad started a business.
Yep.
What was that business? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, it was a specialized electrical testing business that your dad had, worked for a company where he learned those skills, and they were moving out of the area, so they gave him an opportunity, to have a severance package, and we started our own business doing electrical specialized testing for utilities and industry, and he was really good at the work. He knew so much about it. And I did the other part, the paperwork and the bookkeeping and all of that kind of thing. So
Yeah. So definitely good teamwork.
yeah.
What was that like for you? Did you have to learn some of those skills, right? Because I'm thinking like in the entrepreneur world,
Yeah.
you know, I have moms that come to me and, you know, they've never had a business before, so they
Right.
don't know how to do bookkeeping, or they don't know what they should be looking for. Like, what was that like for you?
Yeah, I did have some help, but I had one of my friends ask me, "How did you learn how to do all that?" And I said, "Well, I either asked questions or I researched what to do." And as time went on through the years, of course, things changed. Then you had to start doing things online, different websites, to pay taxes and all of that kind of thing in different areas. And so it changed over the years, and I just had to keep learning. But we've closed that business now. We're in the very end of closing that business now, and I have to say I'm glad.
Yeah, you're done.
I'm glad. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my math isn't great, but
It's a long time.
I'm not 10 anymore. So
yeah, it was a long time, but it was good for our family because it allowed us family flexibility.
it really did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, I can remember because again, I was in fourth grade or so, and over those next several years, it really did change our life.
It did.
And especially around maybe time freedom and the
Yes.
ability to,
Right.
do what we wanted to do when we wanted to.
Right. I mean, we were still bound by my schedule a number of those years because I was still working, but in the hospital. But yeah, it allowed your dad to have flexibility on taking jobs or not taking jobs or scheduling them around our family needs. So yeah, it was very helpful.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, and then when you look at that experience, is there anything else that stands out that you remember?
I mean, just how, having a business is stressful, especially because we had a service-based business, and the income is variable, and it comes, you do the work and you get paid in the future. And so it's always a juggling act. You're always looking ahead. Okay, how many jobs do we need? What do we need? And things change all the time. Our vendors changed, our customers changed, the billing changed through the years, and you just have to pivot and adapt. And I kept my job in large part too for benefits. So
Yeah.
that was helpful.
Yeah, that's so wise what you said about being nimble and
Yeah.
willing to pivot
You
and
have to.
adapt, because as an entrepreneur, if you can't be flexible, it
Yeah.
makes it really challenging.
Because things are never static. They
Yeah.
change all the time, and then you're forced to pivot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so now you are in a new business. I'm actually really excited to talk about this one.
I don't know what's the matter with me.
It's probably the same thing that's the matter with me.
Maybe.
Yeah. So you're retired, right?
am.
You and Dad shut down the business.
Right. And I've been out of nursing for 8 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So what are you doing now?
Well, I enjoy having something to do and work and earning a little money. And I just couldn't be bound to anybody's schedule anymore. I would have loved to work at the library, but but then
maybe someday
they tell you when you have to work.
It's true. You can't just drop in when you want.
Yeah, I did that for 45 years. So actually, I have a Poshmark account, and I'm thrifting clothes and reselling them, and I'm having a ball doing that.
You're doing really good too. Okay, so when did you start your Poshmark?
About 18 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and just for anyone who's not familiar with Poshmark,
Yeah.
what is it?
I mean, you just look for high quality clothing, and you try to resell it, and you resell it online for things people are looking for. And it's another learning curve.
For sure.
Yeah, I found out you have to do a lot of research and find out what is it people are looking for, what is it worth paying for, because you have to make a profit.
Mm-hmm.
So I've learned a lot
Yeah.
in the last 18 months, but yeah, it's fun for me. And I can shut it down when we were visiting with you in February because of
the baby.
We were there for 3 weeks, and I just shut it down for 3 weeks. So yeah.
So nice.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to worry about
No.
shipping anything if
No,
it sold.
you put it on hold, and That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Okay, where are your favorite places to shop, and do you like what's your strategy? If you're willing to share, if this isn't like confidential.
No, it's not confidential. So, I look all over at different places, and we have a resale, a consignment shop in one of our local towns. It's been around for probably, I've been shopping there for 20 years for myself. And so they keep a rack of 80 to 90% off items, and that's usually where I go shop there. Or, some of the other resale thrift shops and things. And you just have to search through and find what still has a lot of value.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's fun.
It's kind of a game.
It is a game, and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
what,
fun.
What has been one of your favorite things you've sold recently?
Oh my gosh. I was checking out of a store, and I saw hanging behind the register this multicolored sweater, and I was familiar with the type. It's called a Coogi sweater.
They're made what?
Coogi.
Coogi.
Coogi. They're made in Australia. They're vintage, and they're worth quite a bit of money. So I said, "Can I look at that?" And it was, in fact, what I thought it was. So I paid more for that item than I've paid for any other item, but I quadrupled. I made like 4 times the money of what I paid for.
Oh my goodness.
And I sold it within a week.
Wow.
So, yeah, so that was fun.
Well, this doesn't surprise me because I remember when I was in high school and early college, we used to lay in your bed and watch like what Project Runway and all, like we'd watch fashion shows.
Right.
They do the runway shows, and they would.
Yeah,
you always have been up on
and I've
clothing.
Always actually looked for things in thrift shops. I have always done that. So it kind of, I was familiar with the concept.
Yeah. So a couple of days ago, what is today? Yesterday, I think, you had how many sales in
4.
You had 4. She kept coming around the corner. Oh, I just sold another thing.
And it comes and goes. It peaks and flows, and I don't worry about it. And I try, I also try to be fair. People don't have a lot of money always, or somebody will say, "Oh, hey, would you be willing to take this offer? I'm going to buy these to wear to school," or what, so and I'm try to say yes anytime I can. So,
yeah. That's really sweet of you, Mom.
Yeah.
What has surprised you most about having an online business, especially in comparison, you and Dad had a service-based business.
Right.
What have you noticed has been different?
Well, I have total control over this. You know what I mean? It's just me involved in this, and like I said, I can be as involved in it as I want or not. It doesn't have, it's not like a full-time thing, So we travel, we can do things, and then I just don't even think about it while we're gone.
Yeah.
So
yeah. What about the tech part, right? Because Poshmark is in an app.
Yeah.
What has that been like for you?
That's actually not too difficult. Yeah, I figured it out. Your daughter helped me figure out a couple things.
My 14-year-old.
She did, yeah. She showed me a couple things I didn't know.
Really?
Yeah, she did. Yeah. So, but yeah, I've learned a lot. Yeah. And I watch other people that do this, their videos and things to learn. I've learned a lot from watching other people.
Like YouTube.
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of people that do this, and they have a lot of knowledge. So.
Well, and that's kind of a thing that, when you're starting an online business, there's so much available online for free for learning. If you're willing to dig and self-educate, there's just so much you can do now.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah, which is wonderful because, again, compared to when you and Dad started a business, like, how did you market a business then, right? Versus
so different
now.
Yeah, so different. Yeah. We had an ad in an electrical advertiser magazine when we first started, and things like he had contacts from his job, which is where we started. But yeah, trying to get salesmen to sell your work from different companies, and once they got to know him, he was, oh my gosh, one of the best in the field in the country. He had the most knowledge of, I think, almost anybody in that field. So everybody knew him, everybody called him. He not only did his job, but he helped them, the engineers, solve their problems so he could do his work. So he was really good.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
definitely was one of a kind, and
Yep.
it was time for him to retire.
Yeah,
But I know
yeah.
so bittersweet. And
Yeah.
my son, he has been especially sad about the business being shut down, and he's like, I just wish I was older and I could have learned from Poppy how to run the business.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's like it's in the blood. Our family,
Yeah.
the members of our family have a lot of side hustles and businesses
Yeah,
going.
I think every single one of us does.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which is we learned from the best. So, yeah. Well, what encouragement do you have for moms who either want to start or grow their business and also do it in a family first way?
You know what I would say? Take it slow and be thoughtful about your decisions. Like I said, there are some things that, looking back, I probably would have made different decisions. Don't feel you have to go all, full force into anything right away. Balance it with where your family's at the time. And as your family gets older and you're in a different time frame in your family life, then maybe you can do more. So it's always a balance, and I think the balance needs to be the family more than the business.
Yeah, it's so tough. It really is. It's like, especially when you have a business that you're passionate about, or also that you need to support your family,
Right.
and you're making those decisions in your head of, what do I choose? Where do I, put in the time and the energy? But yeah, you're so right. Like, sometimes it's tough in that moment, but putting your family first is long-term benefit.
Yeah, and it isn't always easy. I mean, those decisions are tough. It's hard. Women struggle with childcare and help and all of those things.
Yeah.
So it makes it very complicated.
Yeah, and I see that a lot in my work with the clients I work with, and gosh, they're just juggling really hard circumstances.
Yes.
And from the outside, nobody can see. You can't see that on social media. You can't see everything that they're doing to make it possible to have a business that helps support their family.
Right. Yeah, and I see what you do, and I worked with so many women who were in the workforce, or and you see what struggles they have trying to juggle their family and making an income.
Yeah, it can definitely be challenging. And on the flip side, something I remind the women in my community about is, going back to what you were saying about the marketing piece, is that we are so lucky, this generation of moms, at how easy it is to start a business.
Yes, it's way different.
It's so, I mean, it's like, do you have a phone?
Right. Well, you think back to the very first business we had many, many years ago was, your dad's a ham radio operator, and we sold logbooks for ham radio operators and embossed their names on it because they had to have a logbook at that time. That was our very first business.
Really? Yeah, that's right.
So that was a long time ago. And that is not even, a thing anymore. They don't have to keep logs anymore.
Oh,
so,
wow.
So,
but you went to like fairs or conventions,
we
right?
went to the ham radio conventions, the big Dayton convention, when I was pregnant with you.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so I guess the lesson here is that, things change over time. Some things have gotten easier for us. The challenges still remain for moms who have to figure out how to juggle kids and business, kids and career.
Absolutely, and I think it would always be that way.
Yeah. Well, Mom.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me. I feel like we could have talked about so much more, but it's almost dinner time.
Right.
And the girls are helping with the baby so that we could record.
And I have to say how proud I am of you.
Oh, Mom.
And everything you've accomplished and how much you help women who are trying to make their businesses a success and balance with their families. You've done a lot of great work for women.
Oh, thank you, Mom. Well, you've always been one of my biggest cheerleaders. So when I was still on Instagram, she was the one just like liking every single thing and messaging me and telling me what a good job I was doing.
You were.
And so I really appreciate that.
You're good at what you do.
Are you ready to scale your business? Listen, if you are, there is something you need to know. Smart Mom CEOs, they build the Family Fueled way. We're learning how to simply scale in less time is the key. Join me in the Family Fueled CEO Mastermind, and you'll learn exactly how to lead as an expert and take up more space in your industry while you scale a minimalist business that creates more time and financial freedom so that you and your family can live into your happiest life together. Enrollment for the January 2026 round opens on October 6th. Save $1,000 when you apply by October 12th. There are only 5 spots available. Will I see you in the next round? Head to happierinaMotherhood.com/mastermind to learn more. That's happierinaMotherhood.com/mastermind.